Welcome everyone to our session today, which is going to be focused on our contracting tool. This has been something we've been working on quite a lot, and it's really getting to quite an exciting stage. So there are lots of agents that are starting to use the contracting tool and getting some great results. And so the intent of today is just sort of step through a high-level overview of how that works, some of the elements that you need to set up, many of which we assist with. And just go through some of the main flows and some of the things that have changed since perhaps the last time you saw it. So the session will be recorded. Also, it's somewhat impossible to go through every nuance of how the platform works. So we'll always invite anybody who's interested to connect with us afterwards, and we can go through more refined training, set up your templates, etc. So with all that said, and this is Ben, he's our product manager. He's going to help us today with just reviewing questions. You should see there's a little Q&A section down there. So if you did want to pop any questions in throughout the webinar, then we'll do our best at the end of the session to answer any of them that we can. Okay, so the agenda for today, just quickly, we're going to give you a bit of an overview, as I already mentioned, and we'll explain about where the contracting feature is going, which is really exciting. So we'll cover high level. We're going to then show you where you can set up your templates and where you can edit them. We're going to talk about how you can pre-prepare a contract and provide that to buyers in the event that that's something you prefer to do. You just want to provide buyers with an O&A or whatever state you're from, basically a basic contract with any of the standard annexures that you may or may not include. We will then talk about how you can use the system now to sign any document outside of a contract with a buyer. So in the event that you may want to, let's say, have a pre-contractual disclosure signed separate and prior to an actual contract, then we can show you how to do that. Also, you can use the tool in a similar way to do counter offers in the event that that was something that would occur. So we'll talk through that, and we'll obviously show you the main flow for signing a contract. So I'm going to share my screen. And we'll kick off. Okay, hopefully that's showing okay for everyone. So we're in the training environment. So this sort of ghastly yellow up here is what you see when you're in the training environment. So this is not a real campaign. We've just set it up for demonstration purposes. So here's a listing. And you can see that we have a number of offers that have been made on this property. So what I'm going to first show you is where you can go and set up your templates. So under the main menu, you've got contracts. So this section here is where you'll have all of your various contracts set up. Now, obviously, I'm logged in as an admin, so I'm seeing every agency and every agent's contracts. You will only see the ones that are accessible to you. If you're an agency admin, you'll see everyone in your agencies. If you're an agent, you'll see those that are applicable to you. So you can have your own contracts just specific to yourself, and you can also have contracts set at the agency level so that they're sort of consistent. So you can come in and you can see if we just choose one of these, we've set them up, and we tend to recommend that you do send these to us for setting up initially, just because we can make that nice and easy for you. I'm expecting this to be a Western Australian O&A, and so you can see what we've done is populated all of these sections. Everything in blue represents some data that's in the platform that can be automatically populated because we capture this information through the natural flow of importing information from your CRM, getting information from buyers, and of course the seller's information. So everything in blue really represents an opportunity for something that we can fast track for you. The objective, of course, is that why waste time filling out contracts manually when a platform can do it for you, speed things up, and then you can spend time doing more dollar productive work. So this is the place that you would go if you did find you were consistently, there was a slight, misalignment of a field, and you were always adjusting it at the point that you were generating a contract for a buyer. You could come in here and you could fix it. So you can click on preview. It's going to give you a bit of a sense of how things will be populated. So let's say that, the price was not very close to the dollar sign, which has come up before. You could edit it here, and then you wouldn't have to do it every time. So it's always available for you to edit, but what we aim for, of course, is that you would have a template that's going to be fit for purpose and shouldn't really need too many adjustments. So that's where you can set up all of your templates. Once again, send them to us. and we will assist you to get them populated. What we really want is everything. We want each individual plain document set up so that in any scenario, you're prepared and can go ahead and generate whatever contract might be required. Every agent's a little different. Some have, a structured template that's always got set annexures included. Others sometimes include them, but only if they're requested. It all depends on the process that you have, and the system is built in a way that we can streamline things and make it a fit for your agency. So that's how you set up your templates. What we're going to do now is prepare a contract. So you'll probably do this if it's something that you desire at the start of a campaign. So you can click on Edit and you can come into your document section. From here, you would upload anything that we can't store as a template. So a pre-contractual disclosure is an example of that. A title, anything that's specific to the property, like a rental appraisal, those sorts of things. All of those things you obviously have to upload into here. And then they can be utilized and form part of the template that you're going to put together. If we have a template set up, then you can import it. So let's say your joint form of general conditions is something you didn't want to drag in from your files every time. You could import it from the templates, from the same area I just showed you. Now, what we're going to do is prepare a document. And what we're going to do is drag in what we would anticipate the contract might look like. Now, you can use this in the scenario that there was no changes to this and it will be preset and ready to go. But oftentimes we do find there are changes, and so it's really easy to actually just generate a contract on the fly as well in the event that there is something that needs to be changed. I'm going to show you both of those things today. So yeah, what you can see here is I'm putting in a contract, so pre-contractual, contract of sale with finance applicable. I'm going to add in a joint form, and it's up to you whether or not you would normally add in the other standard annexures, common ones being gas and electrical, major structural, etc. If you think it's going to be most likely, we are seeing more and more agents lean towards just including these things because it's probably an expectation of most buyers, then you can do that. Now, what you can also see here is I've just quickly dragged them in when I've seen them. You will actually find your templates under either agency templates or agent templates. And just a reminder to click on show more if you're not seeing the one that you expect, or you can come up here and you can search for anything. For any of the documents you uploaded, so let's say that there was a title that you wanted to include in this, it would show up in your property documents on the basis you had uploaded it when you set up the property. So if you hadn't uploaded it at this point, you can just drag it in here, but typically it makes sense to add that to your Documents tab and then it will show up here. So we've dragged in all the things we anticipate is going to form part of this contract, and then we can rearrange it as we need. So you want to pay a bit of attention here, try to get it as close as possible, because once this is set and we click next, then going back will mean that some of the things will be removed. So try your best to get this right. It doesn't mean that you can't edit things, it's just something you want to try to focus on here. We're going to go next, and we'll probably give it a better name. So it'll be like Harris contract or something like that. And we're going to keep it private. Okay, so what it's doing now is it's pulling together all of those documents, and it is going to populate the things that we would expect it to populate. So here's our pre-contractual disclosure. Obviously, this is a blank one. You would upload one that has all the appropriate information, thereby meeting your requirement to allow people to view things prior to making an offer. Now in here, we can click on the button up here in the top left, Preview. And Preview is just going to give you a sense of what's been filled in. So most people are going to have all of this stuff up here hard-coded, but effectively it's just giving you a sense of how things look. So in the event there was a special condition that you wanted every buyer to be aware of, you could add that to your special conditions section and it would show in here. So yeah, this is how it all comes together, and you can see that we have this all like this. Now, again, let's say that your actual template would likely have something hard-coded in here if it was consistent, but you also have the capability at this point to make changes. So if I wanted to just give buyers an indication that this was going to be a specific time frame, then you could actually just drag a text box in here and put 10 days from contract date, or whatever. Click on preview, and then just make sure it looks okay. So if you wanted to label these, etc., you could do that. If you have them hard-coded, because it's always an X-ray, etc., then we would set your template up that way. Okay, now this important step, this next step is quite important in terms of having a PDF that's a version that you can provide. Actually, just before I move on, I'm going to point out one thing. I'm not sure every agent would want to disclose the name of the seller at this point. So this would be a case where you could come and just remove that, because maybe you don't want to disclose their personal information at this point. And I'll go preview. There we go. So that's just setting it up such that people have got a sense what they're going to be filling out. So we can click save there. That means it's going to save the template. And then we can also click save as document. So save as document means that we're going to create a PDF that we can add to the listing page so that buyers can see it. So that's been saved as a document. We can now get out of that. And you'll see that we have Harris contract, which is all the fields. And then we also have the preview document. Okay, so if we come in and we click view, you'll see that we have a PDF now that has a bunch of information added to it to give people an indication of what they'll be completing in the event they're the successful purchaser or one of the buyers that we're going to proceed to a contract with. Seller's details are missing. Okay, so click out of that. One thing that you probably want to do from here is click this and share it so that it's publicly available. On the page, you'll see that it's public, and now people are able to view that when they click on the property. So that's how you can pre-prepare a contract. This contract here has all been set with all of the fields ready to go. If there was no changes to that contract, then you could select it as the contract to be completed for a buyer. So that's how we set up a dummy contract. Over here on my right screen, I've got a buyer screen. So I'm just going to refresh this. Okay, and you can see I'm a buyer on this screen. My name is James Kennedy as a buyer. And you can see here that the contract preview is available that we just set up. So I can come down and I can view this as a buyer, which should include all the information that we just saw, exclusive of any seller's details. Download that, etc. Okay, so that's how you can pre-prepare a contract, and you can generate it as a preview, add it to your listing so people can view it, etc. Okay, so the next stage would be, let's say that this property, because we've got a pre-contractual disclosure in here, was a strata, let's say. So there's different opinions on this. Some agents believe it's critical to have a pre-contractual disclosure signed before an actual contract is signed, like physically separate signature processes. Others add it to the top of their contract. Really, that's your own judgment call. You can do whichever you think is appropriate. But what you're able to do is, let's say that we wanted to have the pre-contractual disclosure signed by Josh ahead of time. So what I can do is I can come click on the sidebar here. It's going to open up the profile for Josh. Normally, of course, I would click in and I would review the information that's been put forward, because, of course, everything in here is what's going to populate that contract. So if there's things missing, then that's what's going to show on the contract. So you want to try to get this as accurate as possible, and just check that everything's okay. So you can see here the buyer's requested pest and building. Okay, so one thing that we're going to need to remember is that we're going to need to add the pest and building to his contract. So I'm going to prepare another document because I want to send the pre-contractual disclosure. So I'm going to add him as the signee. I don't need to add anyone else at this point. What's new is that you can CC people. So if it's a solicitor or somebody else that's involved, you can now CC them. So you can click here and you can, if you've added someone before, like a solicitor we always use, then you can add them. Or you can add them as an actual contact straight out of this screen, so it's nice and efficient, and then it will save them for future use. So yeah, you can choose to send it to whoever you wish. Obviously, if you want both buyers to sign it, then you can do that as well. So we go next. Now from here, I'm wanting to prepare a pre-contractual disclosure that needed to be uploaded because it has specific information to the property. So I'll click add. Flagging it says 0 pages. That's a bug we're aware of. That's going to be fixed. It's not 0 pages. Just have faith that that's being adjusted. Okay, pre-contractual disclosure for Harris. Gives it a name. That's going to be fine. Click next. Okay, so this works very much like DocuSign. Basically, what we're wanting to do is now populate the various fields onto this contract so that they sign it. So everything here would be already populated. There's 2 different paths. One of them is that you can simply search for the signature and drag it on. You can see now that it's telling you that there was one person that we were intending to send this to, and we've put a signature field on, so we've sort of met the minimum requirements. You can put their name on as well. So you can go through and fill this out as required. It works the same as most signing capabilities. There is also a way to fast track it. So if you have a template set up, saved fields is a really cool tool that enables you to use fields that are on a template, so that it means that you don't have to go and drag all the fields on. So you can always drag them on, you've always got that option, but if you go saved fields and we have set up a template for you, let's find one. Okay, so this is 10 pages. I know that a pre-contractual disclosure is always 10 pages, and we've added 6 fields and 2 signatures, and we want to add it from page 1 because it is 10 pages. Go add. You can see here that we've got a bunch of signatures that have been added. I just realized I was putting them in the wrong spot earlier, but there we go. We can just drag them down into position, and it's just saved us a few minutes. Okay, so once that's all set, we can also set all of these, by the way, so check boxes are up here. Suggest we just set that as a template for each of you when you get to this point. Okay, we're now happy and we want to send that across to the buyer, flagging that if there's only one buyer, then you don't need to remove these fields. It's just going to not send it to a second buyer because there's no one that's been nominated. Okay, so we click send. That's now going to send the pre-contractual disclosure across to Josh for him to sign in any second. Okay, so that's been sent. What's really cool is in here you can see the status of what's happening. You also have a new signatures tab. So this is a single place that will just log all of your various signatures. So that's pretty neat. That's just a new component to the platform just to help them make it really easy to sort of navigate between the different tabs and understand what's happening. So what I want to show you is I'm Josh, and I would have just received an email to notify me that I have received a contract to sign. I can also view it in the platform, of course. So I'll click on review and sign. Okay, so I need to agree, and then I'm going to go review document. Now what you're going to see on here is I've now viewed it. So it's going to give you a status update of what's happened and whether or not they're viewing it. Okay, so I can review this document, and as the buyer, I can go ahead and sign it. That's fine. And then I can finish. Once that's all been signed, then you'll get notified as the agent, and it will come across to you once it's done its thing and sent it and distributed it to everyone. So that will come through here as signed once it's done its thing. Cool. So I can download it. I can go back to view the property. Okay, we go back here and we can see it's been signed. So I can see here it's been signed and I can view it. And you'll see that James has successfully signed his pre-contractual disclosure. Cool. All right, so that's how you can sign other documents. Pre-contractuals are the most common. If you're going to do a counter offer, that would be another scenario where that would be really useful. So that is how you can prepare a contract, a document and sign it outside of a normal contract flow. So the other thing that we can do is generate a contract, any contract, and have anyone sign it at any time. So I've set up this scenario here deliberately because this does happen from time to time. You know, the way that we recommend using Openn is in an agile fashion, meaning we don't always necessarily turn on transparency from the start unless that's the process you want to use. And the advantage that that affords you, of course, is that sometimes you might get an offer that's much, much stronger and you don't want to lose that sort of leverage if they are a genuine buyer. So when an offer comes in at 675,000 and our list price was, I don't know, offers around 600, let's say, one thing that I've done deliberately here is not progress Josh because I don't want my seller to get ahead of themselves in the event that this isn't a legitimate offer. When this happens, and obviously this is a judgment call that you need to make as an agent, is when it's 75 grand above, I probably want to just connect with Josh, go through the information, and I probably want to get him to sign a contract up front just because that offer is so strong that we want to sort of lock it in. Some agents want to get every buyer onto a contract. It's totally possible. You can click on any buyer and prepare a contract at any time. For Josh, I'm just going to do this ahead of time because he's much higher and I don't know if these are going to increase as yet, but I want to lock this in. So what I do is I click here and then I'm going to prepare a contract of sale. So you'll see that now I've provided a modal that enables me to determine who it's being sent to. Do I want to add anyone, like CC them? And is it going to be manually sent to the seller by me once Josh has signed it? Or is it going to be automatically sent? In this specific scenario, I of course want it set to manual because I want to ensure that when we send the contract to the seller, for obvious reasons, it's the one that we're all happy with. In the event that you were sending a contract and the price was agreed and basically we're just waiting on all parties to sign and we're all sort of good to go, then you could change that to automatic. So meaning when Josh signs, it would automatically route to the seller. Just means it's one less thing you have to do. So yeah, that's how you can control that. We'll go next. Okay, so what we can do from here is use the contract that we set up, which is this one, or we can go ahead and create the contract again as required. So in the event there was nothing that changed, this contract would be fine, except I know that when I put this together, it had the pre-contractual disclosure at the top, and I don't necessarily want him to sign that again. So instead, I'm going to recreate the contract as required, and I'm going to put in. So you would actually, as an agent, go and find your own template under agent or agency. I'm just going to use the Openn templates, which are unbranded. And we're going to go, who's finance applicable. And I know that he also wanted timber, and he also wanted major structural. And add in the joint form. You'd maybe add in a title, whatever else that you wanted. You can again rearrange these things as needed. And then we're going to go next. Okay, it'll give it a name. Normally the first name is fine. You would only need to change that if you're going to make edits or needed to rename the file so that you weren't duplicating it. Okay, so what the platform has done automatically for me is now populated everything without me needing to have to manually go and take the information out of Openn and put it in. So what we can do is we can now click on preview. This is quite an important step because this is effectively going to be sending a contract which is binding once both parties sign it. So you click on preview and you're just making sure that everything looks the part. So I can see here that 23 and Harris are a little bit apart. So that's something that I just want to adjust. I'm just going to have a go at doing that. Best way to do that is just sort of clicking on preview and edit. Pretty good. Move across a little more. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. Everything else is looking okay. I can see there's nothing added in chattels. Maybe that's something I forgot, or maybe it's something that would be hard-coded on your contract. A lot of agents already have that preset. In the event it was just left out, you could just click on edit data, and then we can come into where are the chattels? here. So we can type in all fixed floors, etc, etc. Save. Okay, so that's one avenue. You can see now that's been populated. The other avenue you have is you can just delete it, grab a text box, and just simply type in whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to go preview. So it's sort of much of a muchness, really. The benefit of adding it to the data is that it's going to always be against their profile, but really at this point, you're just looking for efficiency. So that's that. You can see that here he's put pest and building. So that's probably not the sort of phrasing that I would want to run with as an agent. So again, you can edit the data and you can put in better information. Annexure A, structural will form part of, etc. Annexure B, etc, etc. Go save. Okay, now we go preview. You can see that that's been improved. Okay, so now you can see we have a timber annexure here, and we can see that there's some missing information. So again, we can edit the data and we can change it. Or in this case, I'm just going to go and delete this and put a text field that matches like that. And then same again here. Delete that and put 10 days from. Okay. So preview. Ooh, I don't know what happened to my text box up here. Put that back on. Okay. So that's how you can edit things on the go. You can see it's all filled in as the way I need. It's got all the signatures ready to go. You'd repeat the process there. Got the joint form. I'll just pick Julie's here. You can add signatures if necessary. All these things can be templated, as I said. So once you're happy with that, you are ready to either save it as a document, download it in the event you wanted to go physically sign it, or you can send it. So if it's all looking the part and we hit send. It's going to take a minute. It's just making sure all the information is pulled together. There's like quite a bit of data that's being fed through. So just give it a second to organize all of the routing. Okay, so now I can see for Josh that we have a pre-contractual disclosure that's been signed, and we can see a contract of sale has now been sent. Again, in your signatures tab, you're going to see the same. So we're always going to have sort of different locations where we can navigate and see this information. Okay, this is back to Josh. So this is this is me as the buyer. So I've been sent a contract for me to view and complete. So just giving you a sense of what this looks like. Oops, sorry, that's the completed document. Should have my contract in here. I just maybe need a refresh because it's been stuck there. Okay, so this will be my contract of sale. So this is just explaining very quickly. This is how it works for the buyer. You can see I can review it all. All my information is in there. I can click and sign, as you'd imagine. So create, and just click and sign each of the different spots. It's pretty quick and easy. Initials, sign, and that's 9 of 9 fields. So I go finish. Okay, so back to my agent view. We can see here with a refresh, we should be all updated and signed. Okay, so it says pending. That's showing you here that I've signed as a buyer. This is just waiting to be sent to the seller at my will because I set that earlier on in the process. So that's how we send a contract. There are obviously so many various elements of nuance. If you have any specific questions around how that works, we can either tackle it when we do a session with you or chuck them into the Q&A box now. Conscious of time, we said we were going to sort of stick to 30 minutes. So this is being recorded and we'll upload it to YouTube so you can watch it if you need to depart. But I just very quickly wanted to show you how we could now do a counter offer. So let's say for some reason we had sellers that were pretty happy with Josh's offer, but they really wanted to counter at 680 because that's just what vendors are like. We can do that through the system as well. So what we do is we go to signatures. We would go to the partially signed contract. We would go here and we want to view it. Okay, so obviously what we don't want Josh to do is to have to go through the whole process again and re-sign everything. Psychologically, it's much more beneficial just to have him initial a change in price. So this is how you do that. So we download that, save it, cool, exit. What I need to do is upload that signed document in here. So here. Now you could do this here, or you could do it when you do prepare document. It's sort of either way, we try to make it as easy as possible. So that's in there now, and it's labeled as the number 2. Okay, so we want to now do a counter offer. So we're going to click on offers, click on Josh, click on prepare other document. Okay, we're going to add Josh, and then we're going to add the seller. And I want to automatically sign because I'm pretty comfortable this is the last time we're going to do a counter. So I'm really happy for it to go from Josh. If he signs it at the renewed price, then it will go directly to my seller, David. Next. Okay, this is the document we just uploaded. We go next, next. And basically, again, we can use saved fields here, but because the only thing we need to change, you can see it's all signed minus some edits here. All we need to do is select the strike through, put that through the price. Let's get it right, like so. Then I would get a text box and I'd type in whatever the new amount is, like that. And then I would get some initials, like this. And then the seller's initials as well. Okay. And then I would also need to add in my seller's signatures down the bottom here. So what can be definitely streamlined is if we have a template, because you would go saved fields and you wouldn't have to apply all of these fields. So you have a counter offer template. So I won't go through and bore you all with putting all the signatures in because there is a way to fast track that, but that's really the way that you would resolve a counter offer scenario. So I can hit send and it's just the same process again. Required, what am I missing? One other signature field missing. Oh, by a signature field, okay. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now I can hit send. And that's going to send it off to Josh. Basically, once that's completed by Josh, it'll send it automatically to the seller and you've got a done deal. So that's sort of a pretty quick run through of how that works. But again, you can see here, you can have as many documents as you like per buyer ready for signing. So yeah, pretty cool. That is about a wrap. The last thing I just wanted to touch on is that we are in the coming weeks, we anticipate sort of 3 to 4 weeks, the platform is going to deliver a capability such that you can send any document to anyone at any time. So what that'll mean is we anticipate there being a contracts section added up here. And right now, what you're able to do is send any document to a buyer or a seller within a campaign. But naturally, the evolution of where Openn's going is that we're going to allow you to do your listing agreements. You can template anything really and send it through Openn. So the exact same flow of what you've seen today will allow you to send any document to anyone at any time. So you'll be able to store contacts, reuse contacts, set up templates, and all have the same sort of experience, but with total flexibility. So yeah, it's been a long time coming, but really exciting the way that it has evolved. And initial feedback's really positive. It definitely takes a bit of trial and error, but of course we're here to help you through all of that. So hopefully that's been a pretty good insight into the system. I'll just jump to you, Ben, see if there's any questions, and then let everyone get on with their day.
Yeah, we have two questions that I think can be covered pretty fast. So the first one is it template? So for the template, can they be like office or agent? And so yeah, as Sean mentioned in the and as you could see in the model where you prepare the document, you could see that there are two types of template at agency level and at agent level. So you can set up your agency template level. And if you want as an agent, you want to do a small change, you can duplicate it and make it like your personal template. The second question, so I hope that answers the question, is so sometimes when we have ended the open process, we send the ONA with price field blank for buyer to make one last bid. So I'm not sure when this is filled, but you can always like remove the price and the bid from as a field and send the document for signature. But I think the counter offer process that Sean showed is potentially better.
Yeah, I think I understand the
Oh, okay.
question.
I
It's
think I understand the question.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so it's on the backlog in short, Shane. The intention likely is to get to a point where there's a field that they can actually type more than a signature. But at the current on the current
Yeah.
design, it's restricted. It basically feeds through with the information that you put in, um, or has been entered into the system. So totally get it. It might be something you just want to put in their hands. Yeah, right now, no, but we intend to get there. Was that all the main questions, Ben? Anything else that's popped up?
No, nothing else.
Okay. If we missed anything, then feel free to reach out to us, guys. We've got we should have my details, Cal's details. Reach out to support, etc. And yeah, we can go through this in a little bit slower. Obviously, it helps a lot with context around how you manage contracts and a specific example. We can just run a dummy of even a campaign you've run so that you can get comfort around the way that the process works and matches to whatever your existing process is. Name of the game for us is that ultimately we're helping you to find new listings, get great results, and save time, and that's why the contracting is such a critical part of that. So, yeah, it's been a really solid job by the team, and we're pretty proud of it, and we're really looking forward to working with you all on it and getting it set up. So, with all of that, I hope you have a good day and look forward to chatting to you all again soon. Thanks.